Hey, this is Adam Torres, and I'm here to tell you that it has never been easier to start your very own podcast. At Mission Matters, our goal is to amplify stories that matter. That means we want to help you start your podcast because your story matters. We can do this in 3 different ways. 1, join our podcast school and take a free or paid course. 2, visit our resources page where we've already figured out what you need, such as where to host your podcast. Or 3, heck, we can even do everything for you through our podcast agency, including editing for cheaper than you can do in-house. Oh, and no contracts, service is month to month. Get started by heading over to missionmatters.com and click on Start a Podcast. All right, now let's get into the show.
Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Fitness Podcast, your source for all things fitness. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Abhish Desai on the line, and he is owner and CEO over at the Desai Lifestyle. Abhish, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, man, so I'm excited to get into today's topic. So we're going to talk about the Desai Lifestyle. We're going to talk about you training for the CrossFit Open. I mean, becoming an official athlete. I mean, you have a lot of things going on. But just to kind of get us kicked off, for the audience, let's start off with your background. So how did you get started really on this path of this career and this fitness lifestyle?
Yeah, so I actually was in law school when it all started. The first year of law school is always so grueling, and it takes a toll on so many people that it actually happened to me. And I never expected to fall down a path that way, to lose my health and my fitness and kind of lose touch with all of it. So for me, it was a huge wake-up call in my second year that, hey, I need to get back into shape. I need to get back to a better mental mental state in general, just because of that toll. And so I kind of went on my own journey after that. I ended up finding a program. I actually ended up finding Chris Hemsworth's trainer's program, Luke Zaki, and I ended up doing his program. And luckily for me, they were all filming here in Atlanta for Endgame, and I just became, very, very lucky because Luke contacted me and was like, hey, would you like to work out? And we ended up working out together one day. And then from that point forward, I was inspired to do exactly what Luke did for me for other people. And that's where I kind of started my fitness journey, and my brand, that's where it was born.
Wow, what an amazing story. I love it. And so, for some of the people out there that are maybe just getting started on this path, so obviously, you're much further along. You've been doing this a long time now, and that are thinking about building fitness brands just in general, or they kind of have that in them, right? Because this caught you, I won't say it caught you by surprise. Obviously, fitness was something you like doing, but in terms of taking it to make that next level, to make it a business and, what you do, it's a big deal. So what kind of advice would you give to that new person that's maybe in your shoes of when you just got started by this mentor?
My biggest advice would be patience. Patience and just being consistent throughout. It's just like going through a fitness journey in general. The consistency, that's really what matters here. And so one thing I remember throughout my entire journey was, why am I posting every day? Why am I I don't have a big audience. I don't really have a big reach. Why am I posting? Who am I doing this for? And then I would remind myself, no, even if one person sees this, I succeeded. Even if one person gets inspired by me, I succeeded. And so one of the biggest things you have to remind yourself on when you're a beginner and when you're actually just trying to start a business like this is consistency, just as it would be when you're working out. You have to work out every single day and stay consistent to see results. And just like that, if you want to see results in a business or a brand, you have to stay consistent. And I think that patience really takes a huge aspect of that. I remember becoming very impatient and then just, thinking I should quit. I'm going to quit. I don't want to do this anymore. It's not worth it. And then lo and behold, 3 years later, I'm here and I have my own brand. Just because I stuck to it, I never gave up.
Man, I love it. That's awesome. So let's speaking of your brand, let's get into the Desai Lifestyle. So tell us a little bit more about your company, please.
Yeah, so the company is a one-man team, and so basically I do all of my own photography, I do all of my videography. On top of that, I actually I train multiple different types of training styles, including animal flow, including bodyweight training, HIIT training, strength training, and everything you can possibly think of. I've dipped my hands into and then just taught myself throughout the years. So that's kind of the biggest part of it. And now I'm still learning throughout. Like I'm one of those people that just wants to keep learning new techniques and new things. So the brand is basically here to show other people that you don't need to be extraordinary to do something extraordinary. So basically the Desai Lifestyle, the goal of it is to show the average person, hey, to be fit, you just got, it's not easy. It's not hard. It's very, very easy to be fit. You don't need to be ripped constantly. You don't need to go out of your way to compete. For most people, you're just trying to be healthy, and that's what I'm here to show them how to do.
Man, that's awesome. I think it's a great mission, and I think that whole thought process of consistency and what you're doing, I mean, it's just amazing. And this is how, things start. And I love where you're at. And I remember when I first started this, I mean, it was myself. I'm like, so you said one-man team. I'm like, as it grows, as things happen, you're going to see it just gets more complicated. You're like, yeah. I remember when I started this, I was doing the interview. I edited myself. I did the distribution. I mean, everything myself. I mean, those are long days. So I don't know how you're training on top of this brand, because you got a big brand. And I'm like, man, this guy's training and doing this. This is awesome. No, it's great, man. And the only way you could do that is if you really have a passion for what you're doing. So that's where, like, I know as a creator, like 100%, you love what you're doing and you're working hard out there to make it happen, and you're getting the results for your clients, or else they wouldn't be your clients. So I get it, and I'm excited for you. So let's, Abhish, I do want to get into the CrossFit Open and what you're training for. So first off, for those that maybe aren't familiar with it, give us a little bit of background on CrossFit Open and what that entails, because that's a big deal. Like this is not easy stuff. When I read that on your show notes, I'm like, ouch, I'm in pain just watching it.
Yeah, so it's a really funny story. I used to make fun of CrossFit all the time, and anyone who did CrossFit, and I'd never had a passion for it. And then about a few months ago, I watched my first CrossFit documentary, and I was immediately changed. Like at that moment, I was like, okay, no, I see the dangerous aspect of. Yeah, I saw the dangerous aspect of when regular people were doing it, but when I saw the athletes doing it and what they were really capable of, I mean,
professionals.
That really changed my entire perspective on CrossFit. And so I think I binged all the CrossFit documentaries possible within the first week that I started. And I was just like, okay, I'm mind blown. My fiance got involved in it. She was just like, we were cheering on a documentary. That's how crazy it got. So we were watching these documentaries, and then I was like, wait, these guys are my age. Wait, if they can do this, I can do this. I put in the time anyways. Why not do something like this or just do this? And so one day I just up and decided, I was like, you know what? From this point forward, I'm going for the CrossFit Games. And so to get into the CrossFit Games, you have to qualify through the CrossFit Open, and then there's other qualifiers as well that you can choose to do. But I'm choosing to do the CrossFit Open because it's all online, especially with the state of the world. I kind of want to just do that. And so right now I'm training for the CrossFit Open, which is in February, and that's basically 5 weeks of competition. So it happens every single weekend. You have to film yourself working out based on the workouts that CrossFit gives you for that weekend, and then you have to have a judge and everything. You have to basically have everything set up and good to go, and then you upload the workouts that you did, and then they score you, you know, according to what their scoring system is, and they compare you to the other people that are actually competing against you. So that's basically the gist of what I'm training for. How I'm training is it's a long story.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, like, that is, I mean, it's ambitious, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of, and then the endurance. I'm just like, so when you said you watched that, I can't watch the whole documentary. I get tired just by watching it. It's we're in different categories here. So Abhish, let's get into, so now becoming an official athlete, like, tell us a little bit more about how that worked out.
Yeah, so I have been, because this kind of happened throughout my fitness journey and throughout, like, building the brand. I remember getting my first offer from one of the companies I work with, which is Jaybird, and from that moment on, I knew it was real. So Jaybird and I partnered last year, and then this year, about 2 months ago, I officially became an athlete for them. And then the other companies, I'm an athlete for On Running, which was also another huge company, and it's a very, very upcoming brand that sells shoes and they sell clothes. Like, I mean, The Rock wore them during the Super Bowl. Bill Gates wore them in his documentary. Like, we see them everywhere at this point. And so becoming an athlete for them, and then Celsius, and then My Protein. And basically, it just got to the point where I wanted to work with brands that really represent what I am trying to do. And these companies are so down to earth, especially Jaybird and On Running. They're so down to earth. They really deal with the fitness aspect of everything. They're very supportive of their athletes and their ventures. So, telling them that I'm actually competing for the CrossFit game, or I'm trying to qualify for the CrossFit Games and everything, they were very supportive. They were like, we'll do whatever you need. We'll get you hooked up with, you know, the best trainers if you need, and everything like that. So I think that was like a huge, that had a huge impact on what I do right now.
Wow, that's awesome. What a story. I think this is amazing. So that being said, Abhish, I can talk to you about this stuff all day long, but we're about out of time for this episode. If somebody's listening to this and they want to learn more about your company or working with you or just to follow the journey, I mean, this is interesting stuff you're doing. I mean, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, so they can actually come to my Instagram. It's the Desai Lifestyle. Or they can go on, but if they want to do workouts, if they want to do full workouts and follow along with me, they can go on my YouTube, which is also the Desai Lifestyle. So it's very, very easy to find me, and the links are, you know, they're on both pages, so they can find me either or. Yeah, that's basically the best place to find me.
That's awesome. Well, Abhish, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great work you're doing over at the Desai Lifestyle. And we wish you best of the luck on this CrossFit Open. I mean, I'm tired just hearing you. I already know it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's going through it. So again, thanks for coming on. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review in the Apple iTunes store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Fitness, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the video. We'd love to hear what kind of projects and things that you're working on, or if you're training for an open or anything else out there. I mean, leave us some comments in the video. And Abhish, thanks again for coming on. It's been fun.
Thank you so much. I was glad to be here.